Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Steven the Leggy Gamer, and I'm here today to do the top 10 games of 2014 that I played. My list. I know around this time of year I'm a little late on the game, but we all like to share and give our input on what we thought was our favorite game we played that came out this year. Some people do games that they played, whether it was old, new, throughout the year, and like many others, I think I'm going to start doing that too, just because. New releases are just few and far in between these days, and this year I'm really targeting the backlog. So for 2015, I will probably jump in that boat as well and do just out of the games I've played. But then I'll also let you know what my favorite 2014 release is. Again, you're probably noticing too that this is an audio video and not just me in front of it. Well, I'm still having some issues whenever I have my video camera and I'm recording with this mic. I get a lot of static feedback for some reason. Like there's something going on in my computer making the mic pop and be staticky. But just doing an audio video, it's kind of making it doesn't give that feedback. So we're just going to do it this way for this video and hopefully work out those problems in the future. This could be a little bit lengthy anyways, so it'll be like a little mini podcast type thing anyways as I'm going over my games of the year. Anyways, like I said, this is my own personal list. I did not play every game that came out this year, and I did not finish every new release that came out this year. So just be warned before going into this. The game you thought might be in the top 10 or is in your top 10, it's probably not even going to be in my top 10, mainly because I probably didn't get a chance to play it or finish it or even buy it. So just be aware of that. And again, we always welcome other people. Go ahead and post your top 10 in the comments or just let us know, or it's cool just sharing in the community the things like our top 10. So if you don't like mine, that's cool. Let's go ahead and share your opinion and show yours. Also, I'm battling a cold, you can probably tell. So hopefully there won't be too much coughing or anything. If not, I'll try to edit all that stuff out. I'll probably be taking some sips of water and stuff. We're going to take our time and go over these games, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. One of the first things I want to get out the way here, though, if you probably have noticed the past couple videos that I've done, I've had a little intro and title screen. I want to thank the Outdated Gamer, Bernardo, for making that kind of logo and title screen for me. I gave him a shout out in a video that I recorded months back, but I just never posted that video, so he never got his proper shout out. So I do want to shout him out for putting that work in for me and making that title screen and logo and stuff for me. So thanks, Bernardo, for doing that, man. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get into some games that I either didn't finish or didn't make the top 10, the honorable mention category, and stuff like that. All right, let's see. Some of the big titles that came out this year, the remasters like Grand Theft Auto, Last of Us, all that stuff that came out. I did not get any of those. Actually, I am kind of tempted to play Grand Theft Auto 5 now. I just haven't picked it up yet. But I do want to give that a try now on the PS4 and see if maybe I'll get back into that series. So I do plan on getting that in the future. But as for now, that game is not in the collection. Some other big titles, Dragon Age Inquisition. I did pick that up last month, but I am nowhere near finished with that, so that will not be on the list either, because I'm only going to do games that I actually finished inside of my top 10. Nothing that I played. Some other big ones. You're not going to see Lords of the Fallen in this top 10. It just made it on the outside. Super Smash Brothers. As much fun as I had on the game night with that, I only really have fun when I'm playing with friends. So and that's few and far in between. So that didn't quite make the top 10. Child of Light just missed out on the top 10. I enjoyed that RPG, but just not enough to crack the top 10. Borderlands 2 on the Vita. Had a great time with that one. Shovel Knight, that almost, it was back and forth between the 10 spot on that one, but Shovel Knight didn't make the top 10 either, but still a fantastic, just throwback to the old school platformers. Really good game, really amazing game, amazing soundtrack, pitch perfect gameplay. So just an awesome experience. Some other ones, Borderlands, the pre-sequel. I'm over halfway through that game, but again, not finished with it. Having a great time with it. It probably would have cracked the top 10, maybe. But yeah, just haven't finished it, and it's a good time. Divinity Original Sin. I picked that up during the Steam winter sale. I put only a couple hours into that one, but man, that game is awesome. If I know without a shadow of a doubt, if I would have finished that game, it could easily be in the top five, possibly even top three, maybe even number one. I enjoy that game so much. Just its combat system. It's just right up my alley for me. But unfortunately, Divinity, I did not finish it. Nowhere near finishing it. So again, that will not be on the list either. Let's see if there's any other Infamous Second Son. I didn't pick that up, so you won't see that on there. Tales of Zillia 2, one that I really want to play. This one will not be on the list either, just because I did not pick it up. So a lot of the games that might not be in the top 10 and stuff are just because I did not pick them up. So can't put them on a list if I don't own them. So there you go. But you know what? Without further ado, let's just go ahead and get things started and get into it. And we'll start at number 10 with a game that when it came out, we had plans right from the get-go of doing a game night on it. Game night was awesome. It was a blast. Mario Kart 8. What a beautiful, beautiful game. First party game from Nintendo that, they release it for every console, but man, this version of Mario Kart, in my opinion, is a hands down definitive version of Mario Kart. It's just perfect. It looks beautiful. Controls are beautiful. The online functions perfectly. We've had some issues where someone might drop out or disconnect from a race, but for the most part, it's just steady and just wonderful racing online. It's so smooth. It's gorgeous to look at. And Nintendo keeps pumping out the DLC for it. That is just great DLC. The first DLC pack they had with Hyrule and Link and everyone, and the other different colors and stuff of Yoshi or whatever. All that stuff was really cool. It seemed like a great little addition to the Mario Kart universe. And plus, with the next DLC pack coming out later on, I think it's in May. It's just even more. So they put stuff out to keep the game fresh and keep you coming back. My son loves to play it. I enjoy playing it. Every once in a blue moon, I'll be able to get online with a friend and still knock out some races and have a good time. So, Mario Kart 8. All right, coming in at number 9. A game that I don't want to say it took me by surprise, but I started off really excited for this game to come out, for it to release. Then started watching some gameplay. Then I actually played the beta, and you know what? It kind of turned me off. But then I bought it because it was the only game I could have for my PS4 at the time. Dumped tons of hours into it and really wound up enjoying it, and that was Destiny. Destiny was a crazy thing for me because, like I said, up and down with it. But actually, finally getting to experience the full game, playing it to the end game, and getting to do the raids and all that cool stuff in the dungeons, the game was a ton of fun. I was hooked on it for at least a month. The first month I've had it, it was a game I just kept wanting to put in and play and grind out, and get some gear, get my Vanguard points and stuff, get my loot. It was just a really good time. I got to play online with some other YouTubers and friends online, notably Corruption. We got to hang out and do some playing on there. Really good time playing online with friends. I know a lot of people say you gotta play with a friend, have fun. I played through the whole game solo, and most of it solo, and I had a fine time. And so I don't think you really do need to have a friend the whole time to have a good time, but it does make things does bring a better experience to have a friend to play with. But just from the strike missions, from the raid and stuff, I just had a good time. And farming gear is something I like to do in games. It's something that I just get a kick out of. Just grinding away to earn points or something to get that next piece of loot to make me that much stronger or unlock that next weapon. It's just really cool to me, and I kind of like the leveling system this game had. Some things I wish they would polish out as far as leveling your guns and equipment and stuff with certain items you got to get. I wish they had better ways to make them available so you could level up quicker. Because when I talk about grind, this game was a grind. It takes a while to get a lot of things once you get to the top level. But once you get the stuff, you're good to go. And then the raid was fun doing that and getting more gear. And then there's even more content coming out. Now I haven't played it in a little bit, and I don't plan on even going back to it anytime soon. But for the time I had with it, it was a great time. From the music, the visuals looked really great and polished. It's just a beautiful game, and I really enjoyed it. So Destiny coming in at number 9. Now number 8 is another shooter that it could really be higher on this list, but from everything else I played, it's just this is just the spot it kind of falls in. And that game is Wolfenstein: The New Order. Man, that game was awesome. Picked it up last month, and with a game without any multiplayer, which was kind of shocking. First-person shooter coming out these days with no multiplayer. It is kind of surprising because even something just a tacked on multiplayer could have been fun in this game. Going around, just shooting each other in the same levels you're playing on. Like I know we are talking on the podcast, like Doom 3 has a multiplayer. Didn't really need it, but I still have fun with it. I mean, if they could have tacked one on in here, I thought it would have been pretty cool, but I'm glad they focused on the storyline because it was a great story. It was a really fun time, just shooting Nazis and blowing them away, and the gunplay just felt so good in it. When you're shooting the gun, it just felt like you were shooting a real gun. The sound effects and stuff, it just sounded really, really good, and that's what I really appreciated. It felt like a good first-person shooter, not arcadey or anything, but it felt real. It was really cool. I can't explain it unless you play it. And the gameplay was perfect. The soundtrack was great. The ending song, which plays during the credits. Oh, it's such a beautiful song, and now I'm forgetting the name of it, so it's ticking me off. But such a beautiful song that plays at the end that I had to go and look up the artists and download some of their stuff because it was so good. But yeah, just really fun game. Highly recommend you play that, especially if you're looking for a first-person shooter on your PS4, Xbox One, or even it's on last gen systems too. So I'm not sure how it plays on there, but on the PS4, it looked great. It played great. Just a really good time. So I highly recommend getting Wolfenstein: The New Order. On the list at number 7, another I guess kind of indie game that came out this year that I was super excited about playing as soon as I heard the announcements and stuff of it. And when it came out to rave reviews. That game being the Swapper. Man, I just had a great time just with the atmosphere in the Swapper. The atmosphere and the story and the whole concept of what you're doing in the game. It can really kind of weigh on you near the end. Get you a game that kind of gets you thinking. It's just so crazy. It's a puzzle game that you actually have to make copies of yourself. You clone yourself to solve these puzzles. So you can make up to, I believe it was 4 clones of yourself. And there could be a switch you have to hit to open a door. So you make a clone of yourself, put yourself on that switch, the door opens, go through the door. Sounds easy enough, right? But the puzzles get really tricky, and they really did have to. I'm not the best puzzle person in the world, so I'll admit there were about 2 or 3 I had to look up help on. But other than that, I was pretty proud of myself for able to figure out most of the puzzles. But what happens is if you could actually fail, because when you move, your clones move in the same movement pattern. So if I walk forward, my clone could walk forward, but I could walk my clone off a cliff, and that clone dies. So it kind of gets you thinking, did a real person just die? I just killed a clone. Was that me who just died? Is the real me still even here anymore? It's one of those type of deals that get you thinking like that, especially near the end with some decisions you have to make near the end. But just such a great atmospheric game, and I love games that have a great atmosphere, and this is one of them. It's now free for PlayStation Plus users. You can get it on Vita and PS4, I believe. I'm not sure if you can get it on PS3 though. But I highly recommend if you're a PlayStation Plus user, download that for free. It's for free, so give it a try. Um, I believe you would enjoy yourself if you like puzzle games or just very atmospheric games. The Swapper at number 7. All right, and coming in at number 6 is a game that I just had a blast playing through, and from here on out, I mean the top. six here. Everything was tough trying to put in a position the next couple ones, but yeah, it was just it's tough making these top 10 lists. And this game I could see even higher as well. But Tales of Hearts are. I just had a fantastic time with this game. Would love to do a discussion video on it one day. But this story between Core Meteor, this love story between Core Meteor and Kohaku was just it was a delight to follow. This game starts off as Core and Kohaku run into each other. Kohaku's pretty much her, I guess the easy way to put it is her spirit gets broken, and you just got to put it back together. Her spirit just breaks apart, and Core vows to put it back together. So they go on this journey to piece her spirit back together, which then, of course, like any other RPGs or Tales series, unfolds to even more things later on down the road. But just seeing this love story of these two take place through the game was really touching. You know, with a lot of heavy games out there these days, it's kind of nice to have something that's just a little bit more simpler, like this Tales of Hearts games. The characters really started to grow on me in the game. I really enjoyed pretty much every character. There was no one who I really had a problem with in the game. There was no one who was really annoying. I guess they tried to cast Beryl Benito as that kind of annoying person, but she wasn't. She might have had the high pitched voice, but her character had some deep story to her as well that made you sympathize for her, of stuff she was going through. So all these characters had something interesting about them. This Tales game, the combat system again, tried true Tales, action RPG style, and it was just fun because in this game I was really getting good at the combos, like doing these 30, 40, 50 hit combos. It was just awesome being able to find the perfect party to string together these great combos because some people were easier to bounce off of with doing such things. So I really, really enjoy the combat system in the Tales series. They're just a blast to play for me. I really love the action RPG. And yeah, they did a great job, I think, in this one. While the combat feels a little clunky at first, you do get used to it, and it's just awesome. And the story was great. I just really enjoyed everything about it. The music. This one was a really text-heavy game, even with the skits, because it was all voiced in Japanese, and you had to read the English. Which I'll admit, at times, late nights when I'm sitting there playing, and my eyes are getting a little heavy, the words start getting a little blurry, makes it a little bit tough. But it was. I'm just so thankful to even have the game. Even if any Japanese game comes over here and they just have English text, I'm okay with that. As long as we just get the chance to play it, that's all that we're asking for. So I'm glad we had the opportunity to get this game, and it comes in at number 6 on my list. Really had a great time with it. Tales of Hearts R. So now on to NumberFive, another game that I beat late in the year, right at the last moment. But once I started playing it, I just could not put it down. And that is Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. Oh my goodness. I heard my co-host of another game podcast, Dustin Christ, and many others, whether it was Devil May Pie, whether it's Fem Trooper, whether it was Aerodynamics, just and countless others rave about this game all year long. Because I believe the Trigger Happy Havoc came out earlier in the year, and I think another, what is Desperate Despair, the second one. I forget the title of the second one. Goodbye Despair. That's what it is. I picked that one up too right after I beat Trigger Happy Havoc. Both came out this year, but this one came out earlier in the year. I want to say in January or February, somewhere around there. But anyways, I just played it in December, last minute game, and I just could not put it down. I could not put this game down. A visual novel murder mystery game that, for the most part, it's pretty much a game based on a point and click adventure game, talking to other students and stuff to figure out the cases and who you get locked into the school, and basically you're told the only way out is if you kill somebody. But you have to kill somebody and you have to get away with the murder. Those are the rules of the game. That's what you're there for. And you're shoved into this school with what was it? 15 or 16 other students. I couldn't remember. 15 or 16 other students, or teenagers, so to say, and you have to try to get out of the school. So, anyways, it just starts. The roller coaster ride starts from there. When that first murder happens, I was instantly shocked at who it was, and then continuing to solve it and stuff like that, figuring out who did it. It starts to become pretty easy to figure out who did the murder and what happened. So there weren't too many surprises when that happened. I will say, for the most part, there weren't too many surprises. The very first part of the game, the first murder shocked me, and then in the end, the ending kind of shocked me of how it all. Uh, I don't want to say anything, but I didn't see the person at the end who did it. Who did it? So I didn't see that coming at all. That was a good hide. So yeah, fantastic game. The stories and characters. I started going really attached to a lot of the characters in there and hoping not to see some of them die off. And I was really like, oh man, please let this person make it. I don't want to see them die. And then there were some I couldn't care about. Like, okay, that's fine if they die. It won't bother me. And then they continue to stay living, and I'm like, man, I wish that person would die, and I want this person to live. Really started getting attached to Hina. You can form relationships in this game with other characters to try to build a closer bond with them. And I was putting all this work into bonding with her, and I just kept fearing the day when like she was gonna be the one that was chosen. I was even telling the people and the guys in the chat like, I really hope she's not gonna be the next one because I really like her character, and I don't want her to be the next one to go if she goes and stuff like that. So you do get attached to characters, and it's cool seeing all their different characteristics. Really good. They really do have a wide variety of characters in this game, so it was really fun getting to know them. And the story itself, it was just a fun, even though the murders and the solving of the murders was pretty predictable. You can kind of figure out who did everything. It was still a good story, solid writing, and it was a good time. Soundtrack was amazing. I loved it. So again, after I got it, I had to go out and get Danganronpa 2 just because it was such a great game. And I was telling Dustin the other few weeks back that I was kicking myself now I don't have the limited editions because I enjoyed the game that much. I would have wished I would have purchased the limited edition version of it because it was just such a good time. So I cannot recommend that enough. Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc for the Vita, must play for a visual novel game in my top five. And Goodbye Despair I hear is just as good, if not even better. So I'm looking forward to playing that sometime this year. All right, and coming in at number four, a game that I wanted to get it, but I was gonna wait till it got to about the $40 range. I didn't want to jump on it day one or anything, but I wind up getting it during the first week of release, just because it looked like a blast, and boy was it a blast. Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor. I had just a fun time with the game, and if you're talking about games, I mean it's all about having a good time and having fun. And being able to control this ranger by the name of Talion and unlocking all his wrath abilities and just going through and tearing through these. They're not called orcs, but it's been a few months now, so I can't remember what the enemies are actually called. So unfortunately, we'll go ahead and just say orcs, but they don't really call them that in the game, so I'm sorry for butchering that. But it was just so much fun. While the story itself, you're pretty much Italian. You see your wife and kid and yourself get killed at the beginning. So you're pretty much kind of dead, but you wind up meeting this ghost like being on the other side, which I won't give any names or anything away. But he gives you these abilities, these wrath abilities, to be able to actually walk among the living again. And if you die, you just come back. And he actually is by your side, kind of helping you through this game too with the wrath abilities. But you just become so strong in this game. that by the end you'll be zipping and zapping around the screen, just taking out all sorts of enemies, and it was just a blast. The other big thing with this game is the nemesis system of how you have these different layers of orc leaders and captains and war chiefs, and how you can fight one to weaken another or fight another so one can take its place that you control because you get the ability to control other orcs in this game and leaders. It's just the Nemesis system was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool invention, and the combat system was just so much fun. Mixing that Batman, uh, Arkham Asylum or Arkham type of combat with Assassin's Creed, it just worked perfectly. It fit good. Running around, scaling these walls, jumping down, doing these assassinations, and just fighting on these big groups of sometimes getting up to 30 orcs at a time. They can just keep coming out of the woodworks at you. And the game can sometimes not be a pushover when you get to where you have to fight these war chiefs and you kind of don't plan it out and take out their captains and stuff. You could run into a battle with a war chief who could be immune to something with these two other guards by his side, and you can get run over pretty quickly. So the game does require you to do some thinking and planning instead of just going all balls to the walls and taking out the war chief. I mean, you could do it. I did do it in some occasions by getting lucky, but for the most part, you could run into that one enemy who is just immune to most of your abilities. So when you try to kill him, it's just a pain, and he winds up beating you, and he gets stronger and levels up, but you keep going back for revenge until that time that you finally get him and you chop his head off. It's awesome. So the game is just a great game. I can't recommend it enough if you're into the action adventure games. It's just a blast. Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor, coming in easily at number 4. All right, so we're at the top 3. And the top 3 could be controversial. My number 3 pick, and we'll just get that out the way first. Number 3, Hearthstone. Hearthstone, a free-to-play card game that you can now play on your PC, your iOS tablet, or your Android tablet. Hearthstone. Yes, Hearthstone. I had a blast playing this card game. I have a card game background, and pretty much only the one I specialized in was Yu-Gi-Oh back in the day. Really, really enjoyed that game. Went to tournaments on the weekends locally here. We would go every Saturday, and you would just go and you pay like a little entrance fee, and if you win it, you get booster packs and stuff at the end. I just had a great time. Love doing that. Love playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and so that's the only pretty much card background I had. Went to see Dustin, and then started trying to learn some Magic. And Magic is a good game, easy to kind of pick up and learn. But with so many cards and stuff just going on in that franchise, that seemed like it could get a bit overwhelming. So then I hear about this Hearthstone game coming out that was in beta form last year, so I got to play it and was really enjoying it. And the official release was this year. And people, if there is any game that is easy to get into, that is a card game, it is Hearthstone. And you're doing yourself a disservice by not giving it a chance. It's just so much fun. And it's free to play done right. You start off with a basic set of cards that it gives you, but it's so easy to start earning more cards for your deck. It's a system that's done right. You feel like you're always making progress into making your deck better and better. I started off free to play, and I've continued to stay that way even through all these expansion releases and such. I was talking to Ultimate Floyd 1 a few weeks back, and or was it Aerodynamics we were talking, and he asked me if I put any money into the game. Admittedly, I have. I have put some money into the game just because I've enjoyed it that much. But it's either, I think when we did the math, it was 20 bucks and under. I want to say it was around 18 bucks that I've invested into this game that I put hundreds of hours into, which I think in itself is perfectly fine. If something has given me hundreds of hours of enjoyment and given them less than $20, that is a win. You could easily spend $60 in booster packs, but I don't have to because I feel like I've unlocked enough just through playing through arenas and just getting enough coin to actually make my own deck the way I want it. They just have a system set to where it just works, and it's tough to explain it unless you've played it. But just for example, if you open a booster pack and you have that card already, say you have doubles of it, because you're only allowed 2 cards per deck anyway. So if you get a third of the card, you can disenchant the card. It gives you dust. You can use that dust to actually make a card you need. So even when you get something you don't want or need, you can use it. It's not just a throwaway. You can use the dust to make something for your deck that you need. And it's really easy to get coin for the quests and the dailies they put out. And just without a shadow of a doubt, if you're new to the game and wanting to earn enough coin or earn cards, do the arena, because the arena starts you all off on a level playing field where you actually do a card draft. So no one deck is the same. You're just going in there drafting what you think is the best cards to make a deck out of the choices you're given. And you can earn a lot of coin and reward just from playing that and learn how to play the game as well. So it's a really good fun time. I highly recommend just you give it a try. If you're into card games at all, you gotta give it a try. The only problem is you might get hooked on it. So it is that much fun that it made it to my number 3 list because I put number 3 on my list because I put so much time into it. And that hasn't even touched on how the visuals, just the card animations, they make sounds and animations, and they have golden versions of the cards that actually move while they're sitting there on the board. It's really neat and cool how they do that. And just the little details they put in and the music that they have to this game is just so relaxing and beautiful. You could just listen to it all day, literally. You'd want to have it in your car just to keep playing because it's that that good. Just these simple guitar strums are just beautiful. Anyways, that's enough raving about the number 3 game of the year. But Hearthstone, give it a try, everyone. Give it a try. It is free. All right, we're down to the top 2. And my number 2 choice is probably going to be pretty controversial as well. But I could not leave this off the list because I had too much fun with this game this year. And I actually went back and forth between 1 and 2 a couple times here, trying to figure out which one should be 1, which one should be 2. I think I am fine and settled on which one, the order I have them in, but they could be 1A and 1B. But without further ado, number 2, Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. And I know what you're saying, you're up in arms already. Diablo 3, that came out years ago. Why is that even on the list? Well, Reaper of Souls is the expansion that came out this year, and it's a new game in itself. It added a lot of extra content to the game. It brought a new character to the game, increased the level cap. It did a lot for the game. There was a patch that released right before the expansion came out in preparation for it that fixed everything that was broken in Diablo 3. From the loot system and the leveling and all that good stuff. It introduced even more stuff to the game, such as the bounty and the adventure system, adventure mode, the Nephilim rifts. It just introduced so much to the game, and it's just amazing. I put so many hours into this game. I can't explain to you how many hours I put into Diablo 3. On the PC versions alone, I put over, I want to say it was 200 plus hours into Diablo 3 on my PC. But I have the Ultimate Evil Edition that came out this year on PS4 as well, which has over 100 plus hours worth of gameplay on it. I just have a blast playing Diablo. It's just so much fun going through these dungeons and blowing up and exploding enemies, getting gear, getting that new piece of loot, maxing out your character to level 70 and continuing to grind in the rifts and in the bounties to get even better loot, which will lead to even better loot. It's just so much. I get addicted to the loot, you guys. I get addicted to getting the loots, and just being all powerful in the game, running and charging through stuff. It's just so much fun to me. And the story in Reaper of Souls was really cool. I really enjoyed I believe his name is Mathiel or Mathel. He's just an awesome looking character. And so that whole story mode, playing to get to him and fight him, was just so much fun. The Angel of Death himself, just fighting him, it's just so cool. The characters that Blizzard thinks up for this game, it's just really fun. I can't explain enough how much fun I have with Diablo. I'm playing through right now on PS4 with Alex Return to Mother Base with some hardcore characters, and we're having a blast doing that. It's the first kind of hardcore character thing I ever tested out. But just to know that you're like one strike away from your character being gone forever, it's just crazy. It's another level of anxiety it kind of puts there, but it makes you anxious and excited. And just the challenge of doing it is a lot of fun. So there's just so much the game has to offer for a guy like me. It just has everything I like in a game. The replay value is insane for me just because I like going through with different characters, leveling them up, and getting new gear, unlocking new powers, and building new builds. It's just so much fun. And Diablo 3, I would say, is one of the easiest games to pick up and play to learn just because you're only allowed to have a certain amount of attack buttons mapped to your character at a time, that it makes it really easy to play and enjoy. So if you're a console player, I would highly recommend giving the Ultimate Evil Edition a try and seeing if you like this style of game. It translated real well to the console. The PC version, I would say, is the superior version, only because they have come out one patch ago, Seasons mode, that even introduces even more gear, more loot, more drops, and an actual season bracket kind of leaderboard, which is really neat. They did incorporate that patch with the console version, where I believe the console versions do get the same gear. There's just no like season leaderboard. And actually, just this couple days ago, they released the patch for the newest patch for Diablo on PC. So new gear and new loot has come up and again has started again, and new treasure goblins are available. So they're constantly adding and fixing the game and making it better, a better experience. And I'm sure that that patch will hit console sometime soon as well. So just really enjoyed Reaper of Souls. I know it's an expansion, but I just had a blast with it. So that's why it's number 2 and was almost number 1 on my list for my game of the year. But without further ado, let's get on to number 1, and it should be no question of what number 1 for me was this year, even though it was almost Reaper of Souls. And at one point, I did say it was Reaper of Souls to the guys in the chat and stuff. But number 1, Dark Souls 2. When finally thinking about it and coming down to what would be number 1, at the beginning of the year when this game came out, it was just this game for me. It's all that I put my time to. It was Dark Souls 2 and platinuming Dark Souls 2. I was like, that is my goal, to platinum it. I think I'm still one trophy short. I just need to put the game back in and go buy a couple spells and I'll have it, but I just haven't. And but Dark Souls 2 is just everything I love about a video game. The challenge, that feeling of yes, I did it, of accomplishment. Um, I'm so used to the game and the combat system in the games that they're really not that hard for me to play anymore. They still do provide a challenge, don't get me wrong, but once you get used to the system, it's not too hard. I mean, you can see guys go in and beat the game in like 2 hours these days because, I mean, you can get pretty good at it, just dodging and stuff like that. But the combat system, I love it. The build variety in Dark Souls 2, really enjoy it. It's no Dark Souls 1. I hold Dark Souls 1 as the better game. But this one did incorporate a lot of stuff to make things easier. The fast traveling unlocked from the beginning, just traveling everywhere you want to go. The life gem system, while kind of breaking the game, it was convenient to have a life gem on standby if you needed it. So things like that made the game a lot easier. But still, I just enjoy the variety of builds you can do in these games. a faith build, a mage build, a dual wielding build, just sword and shield, any type of build you can think of, you can pretty much do in these games, and it's just a lot of fun. But what I enjoy most is the kind of story and settings of this game. Just how again how the story is just told on the back of items and through the small dialogues you get through people when you talk to them, and you slowly piece together the story or just looking up things about the story and lore. It's just it's so enriching. I can't explain it. I just really love how the story is once you see it and how you know how everything's unfolding. I really enjoy how they do that in the Dark Souls and Demon Souls series. It's just a blast finding that piece of item and reading it and interpreting it and thinking about what what happened and how it all led to some certain way. It's just really neat. So I enjoy that. The character and model designs, the boss designs in this game were still pretty good. Nothing like in the first Dark Souls, but again, I just had fun taking on these big bad bosses. And yeah, I did a video on it. So that's one I actually did a discussion on. So if you haven't, go check out my Dark Souls 2 discussion video. But I just enjoy everything about it. And I'm probably going to be that guy, even though I bought all the DLC when it came out, except the last one. I didn't buy the last DLC expansion that came out. But when that version comes out for PS4 of Dark Souls 2, I'm probably going to get it just because I'm that guy and I'm going to want to play it again on PS4 with the little updates and stuff it does to it. Like I said, Bloodborne, can't wait for that one. Everyone knows it's one of my most anticipated of this year. So really looking forward to continuing to explore what From Software does with series or games like that. So Dark Souls 2, number one, without a shadow of a doubt. It is my number one game of the year. Uh, so yeah, hope you guys enjoyed my top 10. Sorry if it's a little long-winded. Like I said, it's just an audio version this time. So sorry about that, but hopefully things will get back into gear this year. I really want to start focusing more on getting some more of my discussions out and doing some other videos and such this year. Now that I'm on a different shift, so I'm on second shift right now until I rotate. So I have all this free time in the morning to do stuff now. So that should make it easier to do some video recording once I get that problem worked out with my camera. So we'll see how that goes. But again, agree, disagree with the list. Again, share your thoughts on what your game of the year and everything is, and yeah, make a video of your own or yourself, and feel free to tell me to go watch it. Leave a comment in below saying you have yours up, and I'll go check it out because I always like seeing top 10 or game of the year lists. So yeah, without further ado, I guess that's it. So here's to 2015, another year of great gaming. Like a gamer, like a note.